7 at 10:30?
10:51, I think, 6.
Everybody's mics on? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We all good?
Everybody's good?
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Everybody good? I've got 3 of them. Keep talking. Are we good? Yeah. We're good? Yeah. Okay.
All right, everybody. So early today, about 10:51, our officers were dispatched to 615 Bonneville in reference to a gunshot being fired. Upon arrival, we found the homeowner, who is Lee Martin, who resides at this address, is deceased on the side of the house. We have been able to determine already, and we have a person in custody. It appears that him and the neighbor that resides over here at 619 Bonneville have been an ongoing feud for over 10 years. They fight nonstop over anything and everything. A video from the house next door shows a pretty clear-cut thing of what occurred this morning. The neighbor at 619 was pulling out of his house in the black truck that is in the driveway, was leaving the location with the windows up, and Mr. Martin was out in front of his house hosing the 2 palm trees, or the newer planted palm tree in the front. He took the hose and actually sprayed it at the vehicle itself, which prompted that residence to stop. Stopped and rolled down his window, and we assume, we don't have the audio on that, but had words because he sprayed the hose. Mr. Martin then took the hose and actually sprayed it inside the vehicle at the subject. The subject ended up exiting his vehicle, produced a gun from himself, and shot Mr. Martin 1 time. Mr. Martin then ran to the side of his house, where he collapsed and is perished from those injuries. We are out here processing the scene. Obviously, we'll do search warrants on both of the residents here. The suspect is in custody and is en route to our detective bureau for questioning, but the video pretty much says it all.
Where was he shot?
It appears that he's shot in the side, but the coroner's office will obviously do their autopsy, but from my recollection, it looks like it's just shot on the right side. Yeah, probably right here.
He shot more than once, or just?
I think it's just 1 time. You know, we'll have to check the gun and anything else, but we have found 1 casing here that appears to be shot 1 time.
And which neighbor was it again?
A neighbor here at 619. I don't have his name, but he is in custody and en route to our detective bureau.
Does it seem like his intent was to kill him, or was it just...
Anytime you take out a gun and shoot someone, your intention is to kill at that point in time. It was a very close range, and again, pretty clear cut from what we've seen.
Is defense...
Well, that'll be a defense that he'll have to make a decision if that's the case. That's not our job. Our job is to look at the facts of what occurred, and we'll make a determination based off of that interview.
And we've talked to neighbors, and a lot of people say that this sort of thing does not happen around here.
No, it doesn't. I mean, we've been lucky in Jefferson Parish. I think we've been over 2 months that we have actually not had a murder. I mean, this is not something that's normal. Unfortunately, the feuding between the 2 neighbors escalated out of control today, and someone, chose to use a gun to settle that, and that person's going to be on their way to jail at the end of the day.
I mean, presumably, it's going to be 2nd degree is what he's looking at.
I mean, that interview has not happened yet, so I'm not going to make a presumption on it, but that's generally what the case would be.
And do you have a name?
I do not have his name. Yeah, I mean, the suspect is Lee Martin, but I do not have the suspect's name. We'll release that later this afternoon.
Anything else?
Okay. All right, y'all have a good weekend. Thank you.
And so again, that's Sheriff Joe Lopinto just wrapping up the press conference. For those of you just joining in, excuse me, this is Danny Monverdi with Eyewitness News. We're out here in the 600 block of Bonneville in Metairie, where Big Lee, he's the tow truck driver who's been controversial with a lot of some of his prior actions, was shot and killed in front of his house this morning. If you missed what Sheriff Lopinto had to say a second ago, excuse me. Forgive me, I got some allergies that I'm dealing with. If you missed what the sheriff said a minute ago, Lee Martin, again, Big Lee, the tow truck driver, was out here in front of his house, apparently watering these palm trees, and his neighbor here in the house, the White House, on the left-hand side, was trying to leave. Lee, apparently, Big Lee, sounds like had a hose out again and sprayed the truck. Lopinto says Lee and the neighbor, again, who's not been identified, have been feuding for years. He says about anything and everything. As the neighbor was trying to leave his house, Lee Martin sprayed the hose at him. Eventually some of the water got into the vehicle, into his truck, and that escalated to the point where the neighbor, again, whose name we don't have just yet, allegedly got out, or at least I would have to check and see. He said if he got out of the vehicle or stayed in the vehicle, but apparently shot Lee right here, and then Lee ran a little ways down and collapsed here in his driveway. And again, we have the Jefferson Parish Coroner's Office van pulling up right now to remove the body. So again, if you're just joining us and if you missed the press conference with Jefferson Parish Sheriff Newell Norman a short little while ago, the headline out of it is that Big Lee, the well-known and often controversial Jefferson Parish tow truck driver, shot and killed outside of his home here in the 600 block of Bonneville this morning during an apparent feud with a neighbor. We have a crew out here. Katie Steiner is working on this story for our evening newscasts on WWL-TV, and we have our station newsroom employees updating WWLTV.com with information as we get it. And again, this is Danny Montfredi reporting live.